The scorching sun of the New Mexico desert bled into the horizon like a wound as the Mescalero Apache woman sprinted across unforgiving sands, her breath sharp, her feet torn, and the sound of distant hooves stalking her like ghosts of death. She had seen her village burned beneath the boots of merciless bounty hunters seeking trophies, and though she escaped into the lonely canyons, she could feel the hunger of men behind her, men who hunted not for justice, but for coin and pride. And as night fell, the sky painted itself with silver stars that felt cold and distant to her pain, but she refused to stop, not while blood pumped in her heart, not while vengeance whispered through her veins, whispering, "Run, survive, fight," until suddenly she stumbled upon an abandoned camp beside a dried riverbed, a single ragged tent, boots kicked aside and a rusty water canteen left open, and from the shadows emerged a gaunt figure with hollow eyes wearing a torn Union coat, half-starved and haunted, a deserted soldier who had fled the very war that promised glory, but delivered only corpses and broken promises. His voice trembled when he asked who chased her, but she answered not with words but with the terror in her gaze. And when the crack of rifles echoed like thunder, he understood instantly, grabbing his revolver, though it held only 2 bullets, and pulling her behind boulders as dust exploded around them from incoming shots. And though he once swore he would never kill again, when her trembling hand touched his shoulder, something ancient stirred inside him, honor perhaps, or the memory of dying friends. And together they sprinted into a labyrinth of red canyons where shadows concealed them, hiding from hunters who laughed with the arrogant certainty of predators. But the soldier knew terrain, reading cliffs and stones the way others read books, guiding her to a narrow crevice hidden by time itself, where they crouched in the dark, breaths mingling, hearts racing. He asked why they hunted her so fiercely, and she explained in fragments that her people had stood against their expansion, and now the bounty was offered to break the spirit of her tribe. And though fear clawed her throat, fire burned in her eyes, she would rather die free than live chained. And the soldier, with shame weighing on his soul, confessed how he once fought believing he defended freedom, only to learn he served greed and politicians who never bled. Dawn returned, casting long, blade-like shadows as the bounty hunters spread out, thinking their prey cornered, but the soldier formed a plan, gathering dry branches to create false tracks, misleading them deeper into dead ravines. And when the hunters chased phantom footprints, he and the woman climbed treacherous ridges until they reached a hidden plateau overlooking the endless desert. And there he learned her tribe's sacred path, a forgotten trail leading to a sanctuary of her people. But the hunters realized the deception too soon, returning like wolves guided by blood scent, and the final chase began with renewed fury, rattling rocks, echoing gunshots, and the soldier felt death's cold fingers brushing his spine with every step. As they neared the mountain's throat, one bullet grazed his leg, dropping him to his knees, and she turned back with a warrior's scream, refusing to leave him though he begged her to go. But instead she dragged him behind a stone arch, gripping his hand with desperate strength, refusing to abandon the only soul who ever helped her. And in that moment the soldier remembered what loyalty felt like, rising to his feet through sheer pain, firing his last shot to shatter a hunter's rifle, buying precious seconds. But the others closed in like a storm, until suddenly the desert roared. A thunderous stampede of tribal riders emerged from the canyon mouth, painted warriors of her people answering the ancient call, their arrows singing through wind, striking down the hunters with poetic vengeance while dust spiraled around them like spirits dancing. When silence fell, the woman wept, not merely in relief but in gratitude, and she looked to the soldier with eyes full of meaning deeper than any language. Then her people lifted him gently, honoring his courage, carrying him toward safety, where healers tended his wounds and elders spoke of redemption, and the tribe offered him a place among them, a chance to rebuild his shattered honor. And though he feared rejection as an outsider, the woman's smile promised acceptance, and together they watched the sunrise bleed gold across the earth, promising new beginnings, where neither war nor bounty nor hatred could chain their spirits. Days later, as drums pounded in celebration, the once deserted soldier felt the weight of loneliness drift away, replaced by belonging, and the tribe danced beneath open skies while the woman stood beside him, whispering that freedom is not just survival, it is community, courage, and the choice to fight for others even when you are broken. He no longer saw her as a fugitive but as a symbol of resilience carved from fire and sand, and in her presence he found a reason to stand tall again. Together they vowed to protect their newfound home, watching over the desert's sacred silence and ensuring no hunter would ever claim it again. And as the final ember of twilight faded, he realized that sometimes you must be lost completely to discover where you truly belong, and sometimes a single act of bravery can change not just one life, but a legacy handed down through generations, echoing beneath canyon walls like a promise no tyrant can silence. And to those listening to this tale now, let its spirit inspire you to rise against fear, fight for others, and carve your path through this vast world. And if you want more days after the battle that saved their lives, the Mescalero Apache woman watched the deserted soldier slowly recover beneath the tribe's care, his wounds fading but his spirit awakening stronger than before. And as he learned their ways, tracking silently, reading the wind, understanding the sacred rhythm of the desert, whispers of unease drifted through camp that more bounty hunters had been seen gathering beyond the dunes. Ruthless men hungry for the reward her capture promised. Fear crept in, but she refused to run again, vowing to stand her ground. And when the council debated abandoning their hidden sanctuary, the soldier rose on aching legs and declared that running only fed their enemies. Inspiring warriors who once doubted him, training began at sunrise, arrows striking targets like thunderclaps, traps hidden beneath desert brush, and the soldier drilled formations that could shatter any charge, earning respect from elders. One night beneath a moon carved like bone, scouts returned breathless. The hunters were coming, armed with rifles and dynamite, determined to wipe this refuge from the map, and panic rippled through the tribe. But she placed her hand on the soldier's heart, telling him destiny never hides. At dawn, explosions cracked canyon walls as dust storms raged, but traps snapped. Arrows howled and warriors moved like shadows while the soldier led them through narrow passageways, turning the hunters' numbers against them. And when the leader of the mercenaries charged forward, the woman met him head-on, snatching his blade and defeating him with ferocity born from hunted nights. By sunset, the desert fell silent again, victory echoing across the sands, and the tribe celebrated not just survival but unity won through blood, honor, and courage. As flames danced and drums thundered, the woman and the soldier watched sparks rise like spirits becoming stars, knowing this bond forged in fire would echo through generations. And if you're moved by bravery, loyalty, and stories that light a fire in your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for the next unforgettable journey.